Alright guys, welcome to the channel at the Murchison Method. Today I'm going to go over exactly what private lending is, and I'm also going to give a live example of a deal that I closed using private lending. Before we get into that, please like and subscribe the channel. I am putting out free content every single day. Alright guys, today I'm going to go over exactly what private lending is, who they are, and what are the qualifications of getting approved for a loan with them. Also, I'm going to go over an example of a real deal that I closed using private lending. First, people get confused of hard money lenders and private lenders. Hard money lenders are actually companies. Private lenders are individuals such as family, friends, or business associates, okay? There is some type of relationship that is associated with private lending, okay? Now, private lenders usually doesn't charge any fees. That is a great, I guess you can say, a great advantage of using private lending. A lot of the hard money lenders, they do charge you upfront fees and points, but private lenders don't, okay? Now, the interest rates are fairly higher than a bank and lower than a hard money lender, okay? It's right in the middle, I guess you can say. And the great thing about it is that you do not have to have good credit. There is no credit check on using a private lender. It's based off a relationship, like I said earlier. All right. Now, people might say, why would individuals or someone lend money out? Because private lenders usually are people who rather have their money in a safe asset like real estate. All right. They rather have their money in real estate getting a higher return than at a traditional bank just sitting there in a savings account, okay? I'm going to go over an example of a deal that I closed maybe a year ago using private lending, okay? Now, I found a seller through my direct mail marketing, and he wanted to sell me 3 duplexes and a single family, which is 7 units, for $405,000. Okay. Now the total monthly income that it was bringing in was $5,600. All right. Now I did have a commercial line of credit that I used just to buy real estate. Okay. Now they only will give me 80% of whatever the sale price. So the 80% of 405 was $324,000. Okay. Now, that monthly payment just on that first loan was $2,025, all right? So I needed the 20% to put down on this property, all right? So the down payment was $101,000. I found a family member who had some cash and was just sitting in the bank and wanted a higher return on her money instead of just letting it sit there in the bank. Show her what the deal was, show her the numbers, and she was definitely excited about it. So she loaned me $101,000 at a 10% interest rate a year. She probably was getting 2%, sitting in the bank. And my monthly interest payment to her was $841,066, basically $842 a month. So she was getting $842 a month, just interest every month until I paid it off. I still owe the original balance of $101,000, all right? So now, between the first mortgage of my line of credit, which is $2,025, and my interest payment to my new private lender was $842, I guess you can say, the total monthly payment that I was paying was $2,866.66. The total rent I was collecting was $5,600, okay? So my monthly cash flow was $2,700. Very great deal. A great deal for everyone, okay? It was a great deal for the seller because he was able to sell 7 units to one person, which was me, for $405,000, what he liked, what he was happy with, okay? It was a great deal for my new private lender, who was a family member, because she had her $101,000 just sitting in the bank, collecting maybe 2% a year. Now she's going to give me 10% a year, secured to property. And I was excited because I basically got this deal with no money out my pocket, and now I'm going to be getting a cash flow of $2,700 a month, okay? So that is an example of a real life deal that I closed, and I actually still own these properties today.